All right, here with Callie, and in this video we're going to go over how you can use what's called a conditioned emotional response to get a dog to like putting the harness on. You're going to watch Callie moved away because she doesn't like this harness. Now, one of the things her guardian's done, it's normally kept in a cabinet over there. The guardian gets up, goes over there, and then I can't remember the terminology he used, but I have to capture her or grab her to put her on her. Because we have to put this on to take you for a walk. So we just do that, and then it becomes a negative association. The dog naturally walks away. So the first step that we're not going to show here, we did off camera. I had the guardian walk to where the harness is kept. Callie walked over there. First time he gave her a treat, and then he walked away. Second time I had to walk over there and had Callie sit, and then got a treat. Third time, he reached for the handle, but didn't actually open the drawer, and then gave her a treat. Fourth time, reached over, reached it and opened it an inch, and then closed it, and then gave her a treat. So what we're doing is we're making the activity as easy as possible, breaking it down into individual steps and helping the dog practice each step over and over until they're successful at that step. Only then do we move on to the next step. And this helps give the dog confidence because it knows what's coming, and it knows if I do this, this is going to give me a reward. I walk over there, I get a treat. I sit, I get a treat. He opens the door and I stay seated, I get a treat. Seems pretty simple, or we don't think about all the individual steps, but we usually go over there, open it up and grab the dog, and we try to force it on the dog. We want the dog to voluntarily like doing these things. Now, a CER is called a conditioned emotional response. So to do a CER, what I've got is the harness here, and Callie's laying down, which is actually a good sign. Can you see her in the shot, or is she out of the shot?
She's out.
Let's get you over here, Callie. All right, Callie. So I've got the treats behind my back and the harness behind my back. And the first stage of this, all she has to do is look at the harness and she gets a treat. And see how she took that step back? That's her way of saying, I'm getting ready to run away. That time, no step back. And when you're doing this, you have to go at the dog's pace. So all we're saying is just look at the treat, or look at the harness and get a treat. In a second, I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer and I'm going to ask her to lean towards it a little bit. That was enough. Callie, this would be a little bit better if you're over here so we have a little bit more sideways action. There you go. Sit. She doesn't have to sit. I'm just trying to get her to sit for this to be a little bit easier video, or so you can see her a little bit. So she looks at it, I take it away, and she gets a treat. She took a step towards me this time. Took a step back, so that means I'm pushing a little bit farther than I should, so I'm going to go a little slower. And as soon as she looks at it, it goes away. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start kind of approximating, and see how this is swinging around? That would be a lot for her. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to hold this to make sure that movement doesn't cause her to be a little bit frustrated. Or, not frustrated, but scared. Always let your dog finish chewing the treat first. So me moving it was a little bit strong for her, so I put it down on the ground to make it easier. Again, always back up and make it easier for your dog to do this. So what are we doing now? We're having Callie approach, and something good is happening. I'm going to move a little bit further away, Miss Callie. Yes, Callie doesn't like people moving around. That's another issue. That time she touched it while I was holding it. That wasn't a touch, but it was a lean. And we're just starting, so I'm going to go ahead and accept that. So she didn't, so I'm just not going to reward. There's no punishment. There's no correction. Just then get the reward. That time she did it. She gets the reward. So we want to make sure the dog feels empowered so it gets to do it on its own. You're really spooked by this. This is why I stopped giving you treats earlier, because I told you you're going to get a lot of treats for this. Patience is a virtue. Boom. There you go. And if she stays here, that's an indication she feels comfortable. There you go. So you want to keep on doing this until the dog no longer is reactive. I don't know if we'll be able to, I'm going to hopefully be able to get this on her. But this might take several practice sessions for other people to do. And if you get frustrated, the dog gets frustrated or scared, stop. You want the last repetition is what your dog's going to remember the most.
So if we don't get it on her, we don't take her for a walk.
Yeah, so this is why we want to practice this not always only when we're going for a walk. We're going to practice it other times as well. There you go. All right, I have to go into the reservoir and pull out some more treats, Callie. See, I thought I chopped up enough, and I did not quite have enough. That's okay. I've got a plethora of treats. I got that from Three Amigos. Do you even know what a plethora is, as Guapo would say? All right, so now what I want to do is, now if right now if I move it, she's probably not going to like it. I'm going to do this just to get her to be a little bit more relaxed. Give her a treat, and I'm going to kind of flip it a little bit, just like that. See that lean that she has?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't see it off camera because one of the guardians moved, and that little jump was because she heard a movement behind her. It kind of startled her. She's already fearful for this. So we want to go very slow. When you're doing this, make sure there's no crazy sounds. You're not doing a blender. There's not kids running around the background.
Sometimes you want speedy, but reliable. Stay with
See if I can do it this way.
In other words, you want a hybrid. So do businesses. That's why they're going hybrid with IBM.
Now notice I'm sticking my hand all the way through it.
Helps them roll out new innovations anywhere without losing
I'm going to ask her to get a little bit closer.
transportation. Businesses are going with smarter hybrid cloud, using the tools, platform, and expertise of IBM.
From the beginning, Mercedes-Benz has left its mark on performance, safety, and
The question is how we train mom and dad to do this.
Well, I'm going to do this and hopefully be successful, and I'm going to walk you guys through doing the same thing off camera. We just want to make sure that you have good video that you guys can watch showing how to do this. Right, Callie? Now, this is going to be very draining of energy when you do it. So this could be something, we talked earlier about exercise and mental stimulation. This is mental stimulation. She's going to be tired just from this exercise alone. But if you do this when there's nobody here, right now I'm kind of the boogeyman to her. If you do it when there's nobody here, that will make it easier for her as well because there's less variables. So again, when you're doing this, make sure you're holding this up here. So that swinging thing is going to catch her off guard. See how she's not even moving away? I'd still like to get you sideways over here. It's going to look a lot better if you're sideways. We call that camera presence. Callie?
It's like she backs up and then she goes forward.
Well, she's just not fully confident. So when she backs away, she's saying, I'm not comfortable with this. But again, the whole time I'm doing this, she's doing all the work. Make sure you're watching through the deal so it doesn't, sometimes people watching it starts filming the fireplace. So now she's sticking her nose through it.
Kind of.
And again, this is a hard one for her. So
Yeah, this is she's terrified of it.
And normally you pick this thing up and she walks across the room.
Right. Yeah,
Now-
you're chasing her.
She's coming to it and she's doing it all on her own. And when you get to this stage, this is when you get really tempted. Stick your nose in, you're gonna try to swoop it over her. Don't. You're building trust. You do that, you'll really have a big backslide. And see how now I'm able to move it around a little bit as I manipulate, and she's still comfortable doing it. And I'm using the chicken liver treats for this. I'm gonna go to what I call crack. We call it crack because it's put the dust over there. This is freeze-dried beef liver, and dogs usually fiend for it. That's why we call it crack.
Sounds delicious.
Yes, well, for animals, they typically eat the better parts. They eat the liver.
Callie.
That's right. I put the crumbs there specifically for her, and it's a good little distraction. But they eat the, if you see the movies with the Indians, the Native Americans would actually eat the heart. They, kill an animal as a show of respect. Same sort of principle. But this is an even higher value treat. So again, I'm gonna make sure this thing doesn't go. Oh yeah, I'm using the good stuff now, huh, Callie? since you want to go in this direction, let's go ahead and I'll turn it a little bit. I'd like to see a little bit more profile. There you go, Callie. Is that too big a piece? You got to run away and chew it. Yeah, you like that. There you go.
So you're just gradually bringing her through the harness.
Well, I'm not bringing it. I'm arranging a situation where she does it.
She's gradually bringing herself through the harness.
Now, if she starts going around it, then hold it closer to the hole.
It's a slow game. A game for long walks and contemplation.
I think we're going to be successful this way.
Then there's the other side of it. That's not just for everyone.
I know. It's a lot of hard work, huh, Callie?
To get that round finish before the sun sits down behind the pines and leaves the course cloaked in darkness. Trying to win the last major of the year before the strange season finally comes.
There you go. When you're doing this, make sure you moderate the treat size. I should have had more chopped up here.
I can grab some from it.
No, that's okay. But just when you're doing this, make sure you do your work ahead of time, so that way it's there. Now that's not ideal. I wanted to have a completion to this, and that should not be my goal, but I'm doing the
Right.
video. So, so afterwards, eventually she'll put her head through the harness completely, and you see something that she used to be terrified of and run away from. Now she's coming over and checking it out, and then she gets a treat afterwards. So remember, the action precedes the treat. The treat is a reward or reinforcer at the end. And let's try a couple more pieces. I don't want to kind of have it just hanging off the head like I did in that one because,
Well, she was backing away pretty hard.
yeah, that's okay. Make sure you go in the right direction here, Callie. And you can also do something like when you're doing this. Yep, Callie, come here.
So this is going to be a long, painstaking.
It really won't. I bet you guys probably, if you do follow the instructions here, probably able to get to it. Maybe a couple practice sessions is all. Well, what I'm doing essentially is I'm kind of paying the price because I'm guessing that many times you got a situation like this and you went ahead and swooped in and over her. And so I've got to kind of rebuild that. This has just become a boogeyman to her. All right, Callie, one more. And don't be frustrated if you don't get success the first time. It's going to take you a couple of sessions. So let me just kind of break, because this is a little bit overwhelming for her. So we'll put,
So let me ask you a quick question.
Should I stop this?
no, let me wrap this video up and then you can watch it later on.
Okay.
And I'll answer your question
Okay,
afterwards.
that's fine.
So basically what I want you to do is the first stage is you're going to put it down and let her go investigate. If she does, then give her, like she is right now, then give her a treat afterwards. You can also do the one where you're going like this, holding it up. All she has to do is look at it. As soon as she looks at it, you take it away, give her a treat. Keep on doing that, and what you'll notice, she'll get more and more comfortable. She'll come closer and closer like she is now. And wait until she's kind of staying here and lingering before you start doing this sort of thing. And then you're going to start putting your hand through it at first where she just approaches it, but she doesn't have to stick her nose in. And then as you're doing it, you're asking her to give it a little bit more criteria and a little bit more criteria. But don't move the actual, don't move this. Keep the treats here. You're moving your hand this way and that way, but she comes to you and comes through it. And eventually she'll stick her head all the way through, and then you put it on, and then you give her a treat after that. And then after, when you have that success, I would like pet her, take her for a walk, do whatever the things are that she really likes so that she gets rewarded for it. I'm 50, I can't sit on my knees like that for too long. There we go. Yes, you didn't like that movement. So eventually you get to the point where you'll hold this thing up, she'll just come over and stick her head through it, you clip it, and then you give her the treat after the fact. Well, this is Callie, and this is how you can use a CER and a little bit of luring to help a dog get over not wanting to have the harness put on.